for Thurgood. Thurgood Marshall was born in 1908 in Baltimore, Maryland. He was African American, and his grandfather was a former slave. By the time Thurgood was born, it was against the law to own slaves. Thurgood grew up with both black and white neighbors. But in many states, people were segregated. In the South, black people were not allowed to eat in many restaurants that served with white people. They were not allowed to sit in the same train cars as white people. Black children in the South were not allowed to go to school with the white children. They couldn't even drink from the same water fountains. Yet, the Supreme Court, the highest court in the land, had made segregation legal. It decided that those restaurant chains, schools, parks, and hotels were separate but equal. In fact, those places were not equal, and those laws were unfair. At the dinner table, Thurgood's family used to argue about what to do about those laws. Thurgood became very good at arguing. Thurgood liked pranks and got into his fair share of trouble growing up. His punishment in high school was often to memorize the U.S. Constitution. Before I left the school, I knew the whole thing by heart, he later said. Yet some of the ideas in the Constitution did not hold true in his own life. Thurgood thought the right in the Constitution should apply to everyone. He felt that the laws in some states that segregated African Americans went against the idea and the laws put forth in the Constitution. He realized that by becoming a lawyer, he could use the law to help African Americans achieve equality. After graduating from an all-black college, Marshall wanted to attend the University of Maryland Law School. Because of his race, the school would not let him in. Instead, he went to the all-black law school at Howard University. He graduated at the top of his class in 1933. The next year, he began to work as a lawyer. In 1966, he won his first big victory for civil rights. It was against the University of Maryland Law School, the same school that Marshall had wanted to attend. Another black student had also been denied admission to the law school because of his race. The student took the school to court, saying that the school's discrimination was illegal. Marshall argued the case and won. Marshall was just 32 when he began arguing cases before the Supreme Court. In one case, he argued against segregated neighborhoods. He said that people of other races should be allowed to purchase homes in white neighborhoods. Marshall argued another case about segregation on buses and trains. He said that the black and the white people should be able to ride together. Marshall won this and many other cases for civil rights. In 1954, Marshall argued in most important case of all, Brown v. Board of Education. At that time, many states spent far less money on black students than on white students. Black children in those states had to attend all black schools, even when they lived miles closer to an all-white school. Black students in crowded school were not allowed to attend the white school with empty classrooms in many places. They could not ride buses to school, even when a bus for white children passed the door every day. Marshall argued that it was unfair to have a separate school for black children and white children. He argued that separate was not equal. The only way to gain equality was to allow children of all races to attend the same public schools. Marshall won his case. Every justice on the Supreme Court voted to end school segregation. That decision helped end other kinds of segregation in the United States as well. It inspired the civil rights movement which took place over the next decade. It also made Marshall famous. In all, Marshall argued 32 cases before the Supreme Court and won 29 of them. He became the first African American to argue cases for the U.S. government before the Supreme Court. In 1967, President Lyndon Johnson chose Marshall to be a justice on the Supreme Court. He became the first African American to ever serve on the highest court in the United States. Justice Marshall got to argue a lot, and he always argued to make things fair. He upheld the rights of prisoners, children, women, and homeless people. Justices serve on the Supreme Court for life. Justice Marshall wanted to stay on the court as long as he could, so that his voice would continue to be heard. Marshall served on the court for 24 years. In 1991, at age 23, he retired. At that time, reporters asked him if black people were better off than when he joined the court. All Americans are better off since I joined the court, Marshall said. All of them. He died 2 years later. Marshall believed in the American legal system. He believed that it was the root of the equality in the country, and that only the law would bring permanent change. He thought the right laws could even change the minds and hearts of some people. Thurgood Marshall changed the country not just for African Americans, but for people of all races. His ideas about the Constitution advanced justice, freedom, and opportunity for all Americans. Good for Thurgood.